Music Meltdown, in which we rate, rank, and review any artist's discography, songs, musical topics, really whatever comes to mind. This episode going into the 90s for what many people would have probably predicted at the time to be a bit of a one-hit wonder, turned into a bit of, I don't want to say necessarily a critical darling, because I feel like he's had kind of a complicated history in what he's done, but I feel like the people that do like him love his material a lot. It's going to be Beck, obviously most well known for his song Loser. I hear the record Odelay got a fair bit of praise and just seems to really have done whatever he felt inclined to. A very experimental artist in a lot of ways, and really just all over the place with his musical palette. That being said, personally speaking, going into Beck, didn't know a whole ton. I knew Mutations in full. I'd heard that one a couple of times, and I'd heard Morning Phase once in vacation on a ride home while I was in Hawaii. So needless to say, it wasn't a dedicated listen, to put it lightly. But yeah, I was interested going into Beck. Cam, how are you feeling about Beck, my friend?
Well, a little backstory, if you will. I've heard "Loser" a couple times. That was a favorite song of mine for a while. Like it used to be on my repeats a lot. Never heard a Beck album until like in full until like actually a couple weeks ago, listening to Mellow Gold for the first time. Now, to be fair, I was in a specific state of mind when I was listening to it. I'm not gonna say what it was, but yeah, fucking that kind of got me into it, and I kind of just kind of went through a bunch of them. The only other Beck song I heard before my listen through was let me pull it up all night, which I didn't know was a Beck song until today. I always heard it in like stores and shit, and I was like, oh, this sounds like a cool pop song. I wonder who did it. And I never looked it up. And then I heard Colors earlier, and I'm like, oh, this is Beck. Nice. But yeah, very interesting artist. He went from acoustic rap, whatever the hell he was doing in the 90s, to more pop stuff nowadays, to weird from, and then even can go back and say he did weird ambient stuff. Very eclectic career. I can't think of many artists who changed their styles this much, but you know what? I appreciate it. A lot of peaks and valleys. I think more peaks than valleys, but the valleys, in my opinion, were rough. But we'll get to that later. But overall, I like Beck. I think he's a pretty cool guy.
All right, me. Yeah, I'm in my early 50s, and like a lot of people my age, I was first exposed to Beck by Loser when that thing got huge, and it was just everywhere. And I totally dug it. It was great. And then when Odelay came along, by about that time, I really became a fan. And enough said. I mean, I'm a Beck fan. Yo, we'll see plenty of evidence of that soon.
I can already tell I'm gonna be on the outs here. I didn't hate Beck, but I'm definitely I think he's got a lot more valleys than he does peaks, to put it lightly.
Oh
Oof.
shit.
Rich, if you want to kick this off with your 14, let's just get right into it. Big catalog, so we're gonna try and keep these reviews a little brief if possible, but seems I got some solid fans over here, so can't necessarily guarantee.
Yeah. Um, all right. My bottom, my number 14 is what I'm expecting everybody to have. Golden Feelings from 1993, his first album. Golden Feelings was a very limited cassette only release by Sonic Enemy, who later remastered the album and pressed CDs in 1999. Beck was not happy about it, so they discontinued production. Only about 2,000 were made, which have now become sought after collector's items. The album is pretty much just Beck fucking around. His earliest experiences with recording, extremely lo fi. Some of these tracks are hardly what you would call songs. There's some trippy sounds and tape effects and stuff, which shows Beck was an experimenter from the beginning. I always appreciate that side about Beck. Opening track, The Fucked Up Blues, is a good indication of what's on here. It does indeed sound fucked up, very rudimentary, very repetitive. There's nothing much in the way of songs here, nothing good anyway. A lot of it is just awful, unlistenable. The one exception is Motherfucker, which is trashy, chaotic, and cool, very blunt with the lines, everyone's out to get you, motherfucker. The song was redone for Mellow Gold. I really like that one. Um, it's an interesting beginning, rather intriguing, in fact. And I have a weird appreciation for it because I like experimental music, but this is a mediocre album at best. I've got it at 2 stars. That's probably generous. I'm expecting lower from you guys.
Yeah, you'd be right. This is also my bottom. I didn't know about this album until also today because I was scrolling through the Beck wiki page to make sure I was caught up, and I saw Golden Feelings. I'm like, what's that? And I checked Spotify, and it wasn't there. So I went on YouTube because where else would it be? And I listened to it because I had to. And if I didn't have to, I would never listen to this because this is terrible. I'm glad Rich provided the context for why it sounds like this, but again, it kind of makes me a little, what do you call it? Makes me not as hard on it as before, but it's still shit. I hate every second of it. I hate the sound. I hate that weird like like that weird voice Beck does, which is weird because I don't mind it on Mellow Gold that much, but on here it is unbearable. It's, there's barely songs on here. There's only two tracks you can consider songs, which is Motherfucker, like Rich talked about, which starts off okay and then just kind of goes into nonsense territory. And then you get what's the other one? Heartland Feeling. I didn't mind that one. I thought that one was okay too. I like the little weird dialogue in the beginning, talking about Bruce Springsteen and shit like that. And I do like the guitar. I don't mind me some lo-fi, acoustic every now and then. But aside from that, it is dreadful. It's the super loud, unpleasant to listen to. Experimental, sure, but not more of like a failed experiment than anything else. I'm really glad he got another chance to make a better album because this was not it. He was not cooking here. This is like a 2 for me, maybe a 2.5. Oh, sorry, not out of 5, out of 10. This is a 2 out of 10. I hated every second of this, and the sooner I forget about it, the better. Take it away.
Here's what I gotta say. I don't think that's a good album, but I think it's interesting. And I find it unique that you say that you think it's a good thing that he got another shot to make a record. Because I think his follow-up is way worse. Number 14, I have Stereopathic Soulmanure. I did not care for this record much at all. Have it at 2 stars. This is just a total mess of an album. Throws you all over the place between the freak folk, sort of alt country, weirder electronic styles, as well as some like really heavy moments as well. And 9 times out of 10, the styles just simply don't work. And that's going to be an issue with Beck all throughout the career. I think that this dude tries so many musical styles. He's so adventurous, and like 4 of them work. He's pretty decent at trip hop. I like his chamber pop. I think he's a really good indie rocker. And I think he has a great somber singer-songwriter style. Outside of that, don't really like most of the styles he goes for, to be honest. Just gonna lay it out there now. There are exceptions, mind you, but I just think he has a really wide musical palette, and I think it's impressive. It just doesn't always connect. I don't know. This one just feels really directionless, and in comparison to Golden Feelings, this one's like an hour and a half long, a little under. It's way too long. Just really, really annoying to listen to. Aside from the track Modesto, it's just not very good at all for me. I have 2 stars for a Stereopathic Soulmanure. 14, 2 stars. Yucky record.
Okay, well, geez, that's a little surprising to me. My number 13 is One Foot in the Grave from 1994, his fourth album and third released in 1994. This one was recorded before Mellow Gold, but didn't come out until that album blew up. It's his third release on an independent label. It's very folky, very ramshackle, very lo-fi. It's often pretty rudimentary, but not as bad as Golden Feelings. Seawater sounds like it's on the verge of falling apart, which is kind of cool. It's a good song, actually. Most of this is acoustic, but Burnt Orange Peel cranks up the fuzzy electric guitar. Unfortunately, it's a pretty weak track, though. Outcome is a pretty weird song, and someone randomly coughs in the middle of it, which gives you an idea about what kind of album this is. 14 Rivers, 14 Floods is a version of the old, I'm going to say, black spiritual, You Gotta Move. And that one's really good. So is the next one called Asshole. Some of these songs hit those Sonic Youth type notes that sound a bit off to me. So I'm not crazy about that. The last track, Atmospheric Conditions, would have been good if not for Calvin Johnson's vocals. He's the guy who recorded the album with Beck. That's him with Beck on the cover. Despite some of those Sonic Youth notes I mentioned, it's kind of good. Might have been really good if it was re-recorded with different vocals. There's about 4 good songs here, while most of this is mid to mediocre. I'm still generous here. I rated this at 2.75. It's okay, but turn it off.
Yeah, I'm with Rich again on this one. My number 14 is the hell's it called? 13, sorry, is One Foot in the Grave. A lot better than Gold Feelings. Not granted by this much, but that's a lot, I guess, for me. This album's just kind of boring. It's like it's got a couple decent tunes. It starts off okay with Mighty Good Leader. I Get Lonesome as well. And that 14 Rivers track is also, decent. It's not bad. But the rest is just it's a snoozer. And not the Mellow Gold kind of snoozer. It is a turn this shit off and put something else on kind of snoozer before I fall asleep. It's just it has the opposite problem for Golden Feelings, where Golden Feelings just fucking too nuts to be an album, and One Foot in the Grave is just too stale. And it's super long too, because the deluxe reissue is like over an hour, and it's like, what the hell are half these songs? Like one of them is like a minute and 13 seconds. It's like, really? You had to put that on your album? Unbelievable. Half these aren't even like terrible. They're just like kind of dull. And when you start to like it a little bit, it ends because they're all like super short. Like the longest track on here is like 3.5 minutes. So you can't really sink your teeth into it. And there's no cool Beck wacky experimentation to get into, what good or bad. It's just kind of, white boy and acoustic guitar for like half an hour and then some weird fuzzy stuff. So yeah, it's like a 4 out of 10 for me. It's just kind of mediocre at best. Like I don't hate it. I just think it's dull as dishwater. So yeah, that is my number 13, One Foot in the Grave.
Well, it might be fairly dull, but it is way higher on my list. So, alrighty.
Of course it is.
Of course. Speaking of albums that do a lot that I don't quite enjoy, 13 for me. This one, I don't know. I wasn't really sure what to think about it. This is just so much the opposite of what I want Beck to be doing. 13, I have Colors. This is just not my sound at all. Beck is going into more of a synth pop direction, and generally speaking, I actually do really like the production here. I think a lot of the time it sounds really good, and for what he's going for, it works out very well. I don't think Beck as a vocalist fits into the style at all. I'll let the cat out of the bag. I don't think Beck is a great singer. I think a lot of the time he comes across feeling kind of lackadaisical to me. And anytime he tries to do his weird, like, sing song rap thing, it just really does not work at all for me. And with the song as awful as Wow on here, I really can't justify putting it above 2 stars. I like the attempt and I get what he's going for, but like I was saying before, I think he tries to incorporate too much into his musical palette, and this just doesn't fit what I think Beck is good at all. So number 13, I got Colors at another 2-star record.
Holy shit. That
Damn,
low?
damn, damn.
It's
And you
just
like synth pop.
I like synth pop a lot. I just don't think Beck should be doing synth pop. It doesn't fit him to me.
All right. All right. That hurts a little. Um, my number 12 is Stereopathic Soulmanure, the second album and the first of 3 albums from 1994. I recall sampling this one at a listening station long ago when I was first getting into Beck and not liking what I heard. This is another largely lo fi, completely non commercial release on an independent label. There's some spoken word nonsense, some wild sounds, some weirdness, but there's also quite a few good to very good tracks. Leo LeBlanc, a noted session musician who was legally blind, played pedal steel on a few of these tracks, and those tracks, Rowboat and Modesto, are excellent, thanks largely to him. Sadly, he died of cancer the year after this came out. There's folk here, some country with occasional banjo, some blues, and some noise rock. Often these elements are blended together in the same song. Putting it down sounds like total slacker rock. Beck is perhaps the king of slack rock. And Adrienne, you were criticizing the vocals. He's just got that laid back style. Then you have songs like Total Soul Future, Eat It, that sound like they're falling apart. This one in particular is just barely hanging on. One track is just a snippet of the sound of a leaf blower. So I hate that. Thankfully, it's short. Um, Taser Gun sounds like something the Butthole Surfers would do with its low distorted vocals and sludgy psychedelic guitar. The random sound collage at the end is kind of cool if you're into that kind of thing. It's pretty trippy, and I do like trippy. It's pretty much just noise, though. Revolution 9, it is not. I found this album to be enjoyably adventurous with enough good songs to make it worthwhile. Might be a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars. Good.
I'm just gonna butt in here. There is no way that Beck is the king of slacker rock. Like I get liking Beck, but there is no way. He does so much other stuff. I don't get it. I'd take like Jay Mascis over him in a heartbeat for that.
I'm not a big slacker rock guy, so I can't really butt in. I just think Beck sounds kind of cool sometimes.
Sometimes is a stretch.
Yeah, not this time though. My number 12. Sorry, I was miscounting for a second. My number 12 is also stereopathic stereopathetic soul manure. And manure is right because this is kind of shit. It is, how many tracks is this? 27 tracks, and I can barely remember any of them because half of them are just noise with occasional, cool folky acoustic stuff in it. And I don't mind that stuff. I think that stuff sounds decent. But the biggest issue with this record is that it's too much, and you get fucking tonal whiplash because you go from 90s folk stuff to noise to the fucking leaf blower like Rich was talking about. It's too much. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just it's like audible diarrhea put on what album. I don't like this that much at all. If calling it diarrhea wasn't an indicator of that. This is barely better than the last two, but I'll give it credit for at least taking the cool, weird experimentation, but also making it like, listenable at times. So I'm gonna give it like a 4.5 out of 10. It's not good. It's actually kind of bad to be honest, but it sounds better than the last two production wise by like a smidgen, and it has actual songs on it, unlike Golden Feelings, but it's also like not cohesive enough, sorry, to be enjoyable. I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. After this, I'll start to give Beck some credit, but these first couple albums are rough.
Yeah, man.
What?
I still got a while before I get to a record I like.
Oh boy.
Number 12 for me, kind of predictable given how low I had Colors, going with Hyperspace. I don't know. This isn't a terrible album. It's very similar to Colors, and I do respect what Beck is going for across these two albums. Unfortunately, it just lacks the songs for me. They're all decent, they're all fine. I just simply don't think that the synth pop style suits Beck very well as an artist, and the production, especially on this record, tends to overpower him a lot. You're mentioning how he's more somber, really chill, really just sort of relaxed, and he's just vibing out. That's cool, dude. You're doing synth pop. You got to put some energy into your performances. I don't know. I think he has a lot of potential within the style. I just think it's way too over the top for a Beck record. If it isn't obvious enough, I much prefer his more somber, his more moody records, as you will see. Have this one at 2.5 stars, Hyperspace, number 12. Getting into albums that I don't think are bad anymore, so that's good.
Awesome.
+1 to Beck.
Yeah. We're kind of at odds, Adrian. Nothing new there though. Uh, all right, number 11. I've got Modern Guilt from 2008, his 11th studio album. Modern Guilt never clicked with me for some reason. I got it when it came out, and I always thought it was good, but at the same time, it didn't turn me on much. I was never hungry to go back to it like I have been with other Beck albums. I talked to our buddy Jason Reese of Taste Like Music about this, and he thinks the problem is the Danger Mouse production. But I'm not really sure how big a factor that is for me. But returning to this album, I found most of it to be good, and Walls and Profanity Prayers I would actually call great. Gamma Ray and Youthless are the lowest rated tracks at 2.5, pretty good. It begins with Orphans, which sports a vocal melody that reminds me of the Shins. It's got super low bass sounds and an arty drum part. In typical Beck fashion, it opens with a wide array of sounds unfolding, which tells you right away that the production is meticulous and detailed. Chemtrails has emotional heft, and longtime Beck collaborator Joey Waronker kills it on drums, while the title track has a jauntiness that's cool as opposed to dorky, in my opinion. Low-key pep. There's some really good chord changes and nice keyboard accents in there as well. Last track, Volcano, has a typically great vocal from Beck and some interesting sonic touches. I still don't entirely click with this album, and I think it comes down to the fact that the songwriting is just not at the level of my favorite Beck albums. But I've got this one at 3.75 stars. Really good.
Nice. I also like Modern Guilt. I think that one's pretty decent as well, but I have a bit further up than you do. My number 11 is 1990. What year was this? Oh, 99, when I was born. It's 99's sort of a hit, maybe. I don't know. Midnite Vultures. This is when I stopped hating Beck and started thinking he's not bad. Starts off strong with Sex Laws. I enjoy that song quite a bit. And I also enjoy, was it Mixed Business and Deborah? Deborah's a banger, obviously. The rest is okay. It's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes you get really cool stuff, and then you just get like weird shit for like 5 minutes, and it's like, all right, Beck, we get it, we get it. Like it has the same problem as stereo pathetic shit, whatever the hell it's called. It's kind of just all over the place, but it's more consistent in sound and quality than the last one. I might have to give it another shot to fully appreciate it, but as of now, it's not my favorite. I did enjoy a good chunk, a decent chunk of it. I like the way it sounds. The production's definitely a step up from how he used to sound in the earlier part of the 90s or knots, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I still don't think he's not there yet. He's almost there, but just not. He didn't stick the landing. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. It's decent, it's good, and it might go up after a couple more listens. But again, just not primo Beck for me yet, but it's coming up soon.
Nice. You and I see pretty eye to eye on that record. However, I'm not talking about it for a little bit. Gonna save you guys the regret. My number 11 is Golden Feelings. Very far removed from what Beck would later go on to do. It's a freak folk album. Very weird songs with tons of distortion and nonsense vocal lines. Overall, though, it's not too bad. There's some interesting parts across the album. And as a full listen, it does leave a fair bit to be desired. I'm not going to act like any of these songs made my songs list or was even in consideration. Mainly because they're on YouTube and Spotify. I don't know. It lacks like a proper standout track to really push it forward. I don't know though. I like the style. I like the approach. But the full album, it's a tad much. I got it at 3 stars. I don't really get why people hate this one so much. So going into the top 10 now. So that'll be fun.
Wait, you listened to it,
Wow.
but you don't see why people hated it? Come on.
I'm rather open to the more sort of weirder experimental stuff, though. To be fair, so
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's absolutely nuts, Adrian, but I will
I
give you
think it's
this.
nuts. I think it's nuts that you have the second album ahead of it. I think the second album is so much worse. It's literally double the length and just as nonsensical.
I'll give you this. All Music rates Golden Feelings 3 stars. So you have company with All Music.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's shocking, I know, but
Oh,
I don't know. I think that's there's something political going on. Who knows? All right. Um my number 10, and I'm thinking Adrian is not going to like this. I've got Morning Phase from 2014, his 12th studio album. I heard this album once before when I borrowed it from the library. I know I'm old school.
yeah.
Uh, Beck himself said this album was a companion piece of sorts to Sea Change. Both are on the mellow tip. It's not my preferred Beck style, but these songs are gorgeous. Opening song Morning is lovely, over 5 minutes of easygoing dreaminess. The lyrics are rather melancholy, as are most of these songs, but they aren't on the level of deep sorrow you get with Sea Change. Many do deal with loneliness, though. Blue Moon is about loneliness. It's got an interesting array of guitar styles and sounds, while Wave finds Beck accompanied only by strings. It's an excellent track. Turn Away reminds me of Simon and Garfunkel, especially in the vocal. Most of these songs I would call very good, but only a few rise to excellence. I think the penultimate track, Country Down, qualifies as excellent. It's got a fantastic Beck vocal melody, a very easygoing country tinged rocker. I'm up to 4 stars on Morning Phase. Very good.
Nice, nice. That's a good one as well. My number, we're on 10, right? Sick. My number 10 is his most recent outing, album-wise at least. It's Hyperspace from 2019. or 2020 because he re-released it for some reason. This one's good. Production's solid. First couple tracks, not my thing, but it gets going at Saw Lightning. That one's pretty good. Die Waiting's also good. I kind of like the weird synth pop thing he's got going on. I think it works for him. I know Adri's not a fan of it, but I think Beck wears that style like a glove. I didn't think he'd be good at it either. I thought he'd be better at like that weird rap folk stuff he was doing back in the day. But or the nice laid back ambient kind of stuff that he was doing in the mid to late 2000s. But you know what? He's good. It kind of sounds like an old 80s Japanese record, and you can tell by the cover as well. Not as good as those, obviously. Your average city pop album is better than Hyperspace, in my opinion. But you know what? Hyperspace kind of kicks ass. Title track goes hard. Stratosphere is good. The last two tracks don't really do it for me, but I think overall it's a decent package. It's like a 7.5 out of 10 for me. This is when I start thinking Beck's kind of a annoying prick into hey, you know what? He's a good artist. It's still not a favorite of mine, but you know what? He might get there soon. I definitely respect him a lot. So this is my number 10, 7.5, Hyperspace. Good album. I think at least.
My number 10 is Mellow Gold. This was absolutely his best album up to this point. Mellow Gold is still very flawed. It's lacking a consistent style. It still feels as if Beck is trying to find his identity. Loser is a song that made him known. It's fine. It's solid. It is what it is. I get why it was a hit. I just don't care. It's no Buddy Holly from that same year. What happens with the majority of this is it's lacking the style and songs that really want to pull me in and leave me. And I just feel very disconnected from Beck on the whole. I don't get a lot of emotion. I don't get a lot of personability from it. And especially at this point, it just kind of feels overly artistic without much real merit to it. Outside of the track Beer Can for me, none of these are my favorite Beck songs or styles, and the production is still a bit too lo-fi for its own good. 3 stars for Mellow Gold. I think it's a decent album. I just don't at all see it being one of his peaks. So,
Oof.
Getting back at you there, Richie boy.
Okay. You are the wild card. Number 9.
I'm going
I've got
last.
what?
That's why I'm going last.
Oh yeah. Okay, number 9 is The Information from 2006, his 10th studio album. I remember when this album came out and I bought it right away. I thought the album cover was cool, the way you could create your own version with the stickers included. There was a bonus DVD of the entire album with these party videos Beck made with his friends on the fly. Super cool, and indeed a fun thing to put on at a party. When I first heard the album, I felt it was a bit Beck by numbers. I felt it was a little phoned in, kind of been there, done that. Although I think that assessment is too harsh today. I think this is a quality Beck album, but I do think it was the first downturn from a string of amazing albums that found Beck at his peak. Nothing here is less than good, but at the same time, few songs rise to the level of excellence. Same with Morning Phase. Those albums are about the same level for me, but I put The Information higher just because it's more my kind of music. It's closer to the fun party Beck I love, and there's lots of cool electronics. The first track has Beck rapping, something he does a lot. And I think Beck is a great rapper. His raps are creative, surrealist, or absurdist. Much more interesting than gangster rap with people endlessly bragging about money and bitches and killing people. It's got a cool bass, cool beat, cool electronic effects. There are a lot of cool synths and effects on this album. Second track, Think I'm in Love, is catchy with some cool electronic percussion. I love the synth bass on Cell Phone's Dead. Really cool song. That line, one by one, I'll knock you out. I don't know. I love it. Also of note is the super cool Dark Star, another rap with a cool beat, cool electronics, more cool synth bass, dramatic strings, and a killer harmonica solo to top it off. 1000 beats per minute is not one of the best songs, but it's amazing rhythmically. Motorcade is not my favorite song, but I love the trippy sounds. The straightforward drum beat of the title track sounds especially good coming after Motorcade. Movie theme is excellent, and the extended closing track is quite a trip that hits the climax of the album at one point. The final spoken word segment, though, it's called Exoskeleton. It's kind of cool, but I don't think it has much replay value. Long ago, I made my own copy of this album on tape, and I cut off the spoken word segment at a place I thought was cool. Considering the do it yourself aspect of this album, I think Beck would approve. 4 stars, very good.
Hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff, Richie Rich. My number nine is Morning Phase from 2014. Yeah, this is good stuff. A bit more folky and you know, lo-fi, but unlike the lo-fi stuff from his first album, ugh, it actually sounds really good. Cycle, not really a song, just a little intro, who cares? Morning's good. Heart is a drum is decent. I like Say Goodbye as well. My favorite track on here is Blue Moon. Fucking banger. It's so tender. The songwriting's good, and it just sounds really good production wise. I like Unforgiven as well. I like Blackbird Chain. And the last 2 tracks I also really like. Not much to complain about. It's like an 8 out of 10 for me. It sounds good. The production's nice. The playing's good. And some good songwriting on here. It's just a little, I don't know. There's not much really wrong with it. No complaints. It's just, it's not my favorite Beck. I'm kind of weird with Beck. I'm starting to notice where I'm fond of one, maybe a couple specific periods of time where I'm like, yeah, Beck's the shit. And this is morning phase is kind of there, but it's not there yet. It's still really good though. 8 out of 10 for me.
Fucking crazy. Can't see it at all. Anyways, my
Oof.
number 9 is Odelay. Um, in a lot of ways, this is a slightly more refined version of what Beck was doing on modern Mellow Gold. You have a bit of the folk mixed in with some alt rock and a bit of hip hop. And I'll come out and say it. Don't like the trip hop. Don't like the hip hop infusion Beck is doing. He's not a good rapper, just straight up. Rich, yeah, your goddamn mind. I get that you love Beck, but if you're telling me you're bumping some of these Beck songs that are like gin and juice, get the fuck out of here, man. It doesn't work for me. It feels very distant from where he excels, which compromises my liking of an album like this a fair bit. There are some decent cuts on here, though. Devil's Haircut, I think, is a solid opener. Lord Only Knows and Derelict are pretty good. And near the end, I think the track Ramshackle is actually really good. There's just a large portion of the album to which I feel nothing towards. It's fine. It's listenable. I get what he's going for. It's just not what I want. 3 stars for Odelay, number 9.
All right.
Oofa.
Number 8, I've got Hyperspace from 2019, Beck's 14th and most recent album. I like this album a lot. It's deceptively easygoing. It's got serene elements blended with rock beats. It seems minimalist, but these songs actually have a lot going on. Half of these songs are excellent. Even the weakest song, Saw Lightning, is good. It's very energetic, just a bit too repetitive. Die Waiting has some easygoing synth. Almost excellent, but feels strangely familiar. I love the pitch percussion on See Through. Stratosphere is excellent, one of the best songs, and some tasty acoustic guitar, a rare appearance on this album. The song is about a friend who overdosed on heroin and died. Beck was so shook up by the news it took him nearly 20 years to write a song about it. Dark Places is really good and some good bass guitar. And I love the part where he sings, "It's 2 in the morning and I'm so in the moment." As great a rapper as he is, he's an even better singer. Beck did this album with Pharrell Williams, and I think they work well together. I like Pharrell's production and his sweet background vocals. The album follows Beck's sad divorce from Marissa Ribisi. It doesn't focus on that, but several of the songs are melancholy and deal with the familiar topic of loneliness. This is a great album to put on for a chill evening. It's very, very good, almost great. 4.25 stars.
Nice. I didn't know about the about his friend dying of heroin. That's fucked up. Or the divorce as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 years to write that. I don't blame him. That's a rough topic to write about. Unless you're Lou Reed, then you write about it all the time. Oh, one more thing for my next song. I'm bumping down Morning Phase by like half a point, 7.5. I think I was just overhyping it a little bit because the last half was like kind of fucking horrible, minus Hyperspace, but still pretty good. Morning Phase 7.5. With that out of the way, my number 8 is, let me get the list up. Modern Guilt from '08, the year of Obama's election. This one's good. Starts off strong with Orphans, and then goes into Gamma Ray, which I like a lot. I know Rich isn't a fan of it, but I think it's solid. It's a lot more, I guess, heavier than the last one. There's a bit more like Sonic Youth type guitar work in here. There's actually a song on here. I forgot what track it was called. Maybe one of you guys can help me. It kind of sounds like a song from In Rainbows. It might be the title track. I'm not too sure though. Or maybe Soul of a Man. I'm not too sure. But it's a good song either way. I think it's like the way it sounds. It's a bit more energetic than the last couple. It keeps you on your toes, keeps you bobbing your head a little bit. But it's a little short, 33 minutes. This is the short Beck album period, or at least shorter compared to fucking Stereopathic whatever, which is like 3 years long. But I'm noticing like a lot of shorter tracks or not shorter tracks, sorry. A lot of shorter records after this. Morning Phase was like 47 minutes, Colors was 45, and Hyperspace was not even 40 minutes. So I'm not sure what happened. I guess he's focusing what songs he wants on his records a bit more instead of just throwing shit out the wall for like half of them. But yeah, that sounds good. None of the songs are really bad. I like most of them. Just the ones I didn't click like on my Spotify. I don't think are bad either. It's just like, yeah, they're fine. I'm just not gonna put them on again anytime soon. I think I'm gonna go with 7.5 for this as well. I just prefer the sound a bit more, and some of the guitar work I think is better, and some of the cool little, what do you call it, like weird synthy stuff I prefer to the more kind of folky, laid back Morning Phase, which I do like as well. But Modern Guild kind of gives me a bit more energy than the Morning Phase. But it's still not primo Beck for me. Like I'm not gonna listen to this on repeat like some of his other work that will come up later in the list. But still solid, not much to complain about. This is what I give it. I just had the number. 7.5, maybe a 7.75. Pretty good, no complaints. It's just a little short for me, and some of the songs kind of go in one ear, not the other. But that could just be a me problem. That's probably not Beck's fault. But yeah, good record. And yeah, that's Modern Guilt. Good stuff.
No, we can keep blaming Beck. That's cool. Number 8, Midnite Vultures. Notice I got the big 90s trinity aside from Mutations out of the way. Did not care much for 90s Beck. One of Beck's most adventurous up to this point, experimenting with a bit more dance, funk, sort of R&B touches. Sadly, the hip hop's back, and just gonna keep bashing it in. Beck fucking sucks at that. And just all over the place stylistically. Starts out very strongly with Sex Laws. I think Nicotine and Gravy is pretty solid. I just didn't like much of the rest of the album until Peaches and Cream, though. Broken Train and Beautiful Way were pretty good too. I appreciate what he's going for. I like that he's expanding. Just stop, because you aren't going to be able to be good at everything, man. I don't know. He's just so hit or miss for me. I'm still at 3 stars for this, and I still got a couple more at 3 stars. So number 8, Midnite Vultures.
Oh man.
I really struggle with Beck. He just does so much, and it's like he's not great at a lot of it to me, which I feel bad about, but it's just not really, just didn't resonate for me.
I think he's a jack of all trades, master of none type artist.
I don't think he mastered anything through his career, though.
No, I said master of none. He just kind of does whatever the hell.
That's true. That's true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, we're at number 7. I've got Colors from 2017, his 13th studio album. Like Hyperspace, this is a very slick album, expertly produced by Beck and Greg Kurstin, who plays several instruments on the album. He's a skilled multi-instrumentalist like Beck. Beck typically plays several instruments on his own albums. Colors is on the same level as Hyperspace, 4.25 stars, almost excellent, but I put it above Hyperspace because I think it's got higher highs. Even the weaker songs like Seventh Heaven, which is light and breezy, work well within the context of the album. The title track, which opens the album, is absolutely infectious. I love the way it starts off with the treble muted until it gradually comes into view. Dreams is another totally infectious track, another 5-star song. The third 5-star song is Up All Night, which I adore. The video with the girl on a mission to rescue her friend from a crazy party is a blast too. It's such a feel-good song. I have memories of listening to this with my old buddy. Although we didn't stay up all night, we probably turned in by midnight or so. Dear Life is almost a 5-star song. Great melody, great piano. I like Wow, and the accompanying video, very amusing with that spaghetti Western influence and classic Beck humor. This is a happy, positive album, loads of fun. Not quite excellent, but very, very good.
Yeah, I'm with my boy Rich on this one. Colors is my number. Oh God, what are we on? 7.
7.
I'm not keeping count. Whatever. Yeah, Colors is sick. The opening track, solid. Production across the board's great. Instrumentation's great. Not much to complain about. Not crazy about Seventh Heaven, but it's not a bad song. I'm So Free is a lot of fun. Dear Life is good. Dreams, both versions I think are awesome. Fucking killer tracks, honestly. Wow, I'm not crazy about. Video's fun. I watched it earlier, but nothing I'm gonna be putting on again anytime soon. And Up All Night is as I mentioned earlier, a song that I never knew Beck did. I thought it was like by Run the Jewel or some shit. I don't know. But that actually Run the Jewel never make a song like that. But you know what I mean. I thought it was by some other artist. And then I checked that out, and then when I listened to it, I'm like, what is this? I've heard this before. And then you get to the chorus, I'm like, holy shit, it's this song. I've heard this song at work so many damn times I lost count. And I used to hate it because of that, but listen to it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. Most songs are better in isolation when you don't hear them in a store like 8 hours a day. but that's a different conversation altogether. But yeah, pretty killer record. Only 10 tracks, 45 minutes. Technically, sorry, technically 11, but one's a remix, but semantics and whatnot. This is like an 8 for me as well. Did I get the last one an 8? Whatever. This is an 8 out of 10 for me. Just a fun synth pop record, some pretty creative songwriting, good production, good singing as well. Beck's kind of on fire with his more fun, energetic type singing, and not his lo-fi rap folk thing he was doing for years. Although I do like that stuff most of the time. But yeah, this is fun. I wouldn't mind if he stuck with this style, which he might for the foreseeable future. I haven't heard his newest stuff, so I don't know. Maybe he dropped that style completely. But yeah, pretty fun record. 8 out of 10. Not much to complain about. A couple tracks I didn't care for, but I think the rest kind of makes up for it. Solid album. And it's my number 7. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm just on a totally different wavelength. Still 9 good albums, still at 3 stars for my number 7. I got The Information. Another weird release from Beck that's very hit or miss. The hip hop stuff still sucks. Holds it back to 3 stars. Stop rapping. Put the mic down. But there's some cooler elements here. Had some harsher electronic moments, almost sort of industrial tinge that leads to an interesting dynamic on the record. That sounds good. The highlights are pretty good here. Think I'm in Love, Soldier Jane. I totally disagree with Rich. I think Motorcade is the best song in the whole album. I think the title track is pretty good too. I don't know. Notably, the 10-minute closer, though, The Horrible Fanfare, sucks. Really holds this album back. Did not need to be there. I don't know. I respect it. I respect Beck a fair bit. How he consistently experiments, goes for all these different things. I just wish he were better at all these different things. Still rather not go back to this one. Have it at 3 stars. My number 7, The Information.
Good golly.
Okay. My number 6 is Mellow Gold, his 3rd album, second from 1994, and first on a major label. This is like the ultimate slack rock album. Way more than Pavement, mainly because it doesn't suck like Pavement.
I would literally listen to every Pavement album over any Beck album.
I'm just yanking your chain a little bit there, Adrian. I know. Adrian and I are going to listen. I'm going to listen to Pavement and make my final verdict. I'm not really.
That video is going to be my payback for this.
So. I don't know who Pavement is. So I don't have a dog in this fight.
I think you'd like Pavement.
I might.
Records.
They can be very atonal.
So they can be fucking cool.
Okay. Well, you do like Sonic Youth, so okay. It's largely folky. This album, Mellow Gold, largely folky, alt folk, or I think it's been called anti-folk. There's like an anti-folk movement, I guess. But also noisy and full of trippy segments. It's loaded with very good to great songs. Of course, this album has the iconic Loser, which launched Beck's career into the stratosphere. I remember when everyone, just all kinds of people, were going around saying, "I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me?" People still say that. Hell, I still say that.
I do.
But it's a super catchy song with that slide guitar riff and addictive hip hop beat. The lyrics are absurdist, hilarious, a slacker rock anthem if there ever was one. But I love this whole album. Pay No Mind Snoozer is also prime slack rock, as is Fucking With My Head, Mountain Dew Rock. Whiskey Clone Hotel City 1997 is a mysterious sounding folk blues. Soul Sucking Jerk gets really trippy. Truck Driving Neighbors Downstairs, Yellow Sweat is about some actual speed freak neighbors that Beck had.
Hmm.
The track begins with a real life field recording of them that is both hilarious and horrific. I love the lyrics. Acid casualty with a repossessed car. Vietnam vet playing air guitar. Whiskey stained bucktooth backwoods creep. Grizzly bear motherfucker never goes to sleep. Belly flapping naked in a pool of yellow sweat. Screaming jackass with a wet cigarette. It's just the shit kicking, speed taking, truck
Truck
driving
driving
neighbors
neighbors
downstairs.
downstairs.
Yeah, just hilarious.
Fantastic track.
Um, the extremely lethargic and drawn out Steal My Body Home. Fantastic. Motherfucker breaks up the acoustic party with some severe electric strangeness. Black Hole is a haunting closer, sounding like some ancient melody with some nice strings. I even like the electronic freak out of the hidden track. This is a great album. It had a huge impact on alt rock, but I think Beck would get even better. 4.5.
I appreciate the Mellow Gold love from you, Rich. I wish Adri loved it a bit more, but you know what?
I mean,
Oh,
I wish it made a better album too, man.
Oh shit.
oh, don't say that. Don't say that. I guess I'll be the Mellow Gold stand here, but we'll get to that a lot later. I probably gave it away, but fuck it, whatever. Who cares? My number is 6, and 6 onward, I like a lot. I think these are all pretty great. My number 6 is Sea Change. This album is just a vibe. I love the way it sounds. It's very hypnotic. There's not really a single track that I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite. Because I pretty much like all of them. I think they all sound great. They all flow into each other well. I kind of love this little period of Beck where he's just kind of making nice, vibey tracks and not crazy bullshit like Stereopathic Soulmanure. I'm still not over that. I'll never be over it. That's my canon event or whatever, listening to that fucking album. But anyway, yeah, Sea Change is a banger. Lost Cause is great. The opening track is great. It sounds like if clouds made a sound, maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist, but it just sounds like, laying on a cloud, just as feeling the breeze go by. It's just nice. You can't really have a bad time listening to it. I wish I had a favorite track, but I think they all just sound great. N- And that's also the problem. I wish there were some standouts on it, but just like in general, there's not really a bad track on here. Everything's solid. It sounds good. Beck's voice is great. The playing is great. Not a whole lot to complain about. I can see why people rank this a lot higher. I think it's pretty awesome, but it's just, I don't know. I have to be in a specific frame of mind to really, really get into it. But as it is now, I think it's pretty superb. 8.5 out of 10. Very chill record. And yeah, if you got beer, a joint, or I don't know, Ambien or something like that, yeah, but pop this fucker on. It's good shit. Even without that stuff, it's good. So yeah, that's my number 6. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. This is a fucking funny one. My number 6 is One Foot in the Grave.
What the fuck?
All right, here's the deal. This is still nothing extraordinary, but it was my favorite up to this point in the discography. Beck feels like he's fully formed at this point. It's not scatterbrained among different styles. He's settled into this sort of nice indie folk landscape. And for me, I thought that this sounded a fair bit better than the previous ones. Hell, I like the sound of this way better than Mellow Gold. Song-wise, it's still pretty inconsistent, though, but there are some lovely tunes on here. Seawater, Asshole, Painted Eyelids, and Atmospheric Conditions are the highlights for me. It's still not great. It's very one note, and the songs could really use a little bit more to them. A high 3 stars here. It's mainly just the opening few cuts that leave me pretty underwhelmed, but he's definitely evolving by this point. And I think it's important to note, I believe this one was recorded after Stereopathic Shitscape and before Mellow Gold. So
I think that's right.
yeah. So yeah, I thought this one was decent. I like this one a fair bit more than you both, considering it was your number 13s and my number 6. I don't know. Beck was a fucking weird ass artist for me. I feel like I like Beck more than I like his albums because I have a lot of respect for him, and I do like my top albums a fair bit. But it's just he rarely made a good record for me, as much as it pains me to say, because I want to like Beck a lot more. It's just he does so much, and it's just I respect it, but it rarely resonates, if that makes sense.
I think I'm in that boat as well, but I actually like a lot of this stuff. But the stuff I don't like, oof. But I think he has more swings than misses. But I definitely prefer him more like conceptually, I guess, than having him as a favorite artist of mine. He'll get there one day, but he's not there yet. I think
I think we can all agree he's a pretty creative guy.
yeah, you can't really. He's like a Renaissance man, kind of. He just does whatever, and I respect that a lot.
Part of me wishes he was less creative though, because then he would be more centralized on the parts that make him good. Or he would totally just diverge and try and be like Vanilla Ice or something.
He's been pretty consistent. He's been pretty consistent in sound the past couple of years, so I think he found his niche, so to speak.
Oh, I don't think he'll stay with it. He's
Yeah,
never
that
stayed with
sounds
it too
sucks.
long. He'll change it up somehow.
He probably will,
Um,
but
Yeah.
But as for One Foot in the Grave, that album does have its fans. There's people that really, really dig it.
I mean, to
And
call me a fan of it is a stretch. It's still only a
I know I'm
fan.
not saying that about you. You only gave it a 3, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was just making a point. Anyway, my number 5 is Odelay from 1996. Odelay, amigo, his 5th album. This album was huge when it came out. Beck was the king of alternative rock at this point. It's a wild mix of styles such as hip hop, country, funk, R&B, and avant-garde, often mixed together in different ways in the same song. There's loads of samples and extra touches like noise rock and electronica, a little bossa nova here, some punk rock there. Much of this eclecticism is courtesy of the Dust Brothers, who produced the album with Beck. The Dust Brothers had previously worked with the Beastie Boys on Paul's Boutique, which has a similar kitchen sink approach. A fair amount of this album is supremely groovy. Truly, it makes me want to shake my ass. Where It's At is a worthy hit single and a prime example of the way Beck can make dorky sound cool. It's dorky and cool at the same time. I love the breakdown where the sampled voice goes, "What about those who swing both ways, AC/DCs?" And a few seconds later, this crazy synth sound blasts off like a giant orgasm. Just hilarious. Um, it's an excellent album, really innovative, and it really should be 5 stars, but I've got it at 4.5. The reason for that is the fact that this album has several segments that are out of tune and offensive to my ears. I dislike the intro to The New Pollution. You know that doo 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 doo. Do you remember that? I hated that so much that I edited it out of my own copies whenever I transferred it to tape. Novocaine has an out of tune synth towards the end of the song that I can't stand. High Five Rock the Catskills is a kick ass tune, but it has an extremely annoying out of tune synth at one point, like Sonic Youth notes. Beck makes a joke of it though, with the dude that comes on and goes, "Turn that shit off, man. What's wrong with you, man? Get the other record. Damn." And then the high five chorus kicks back in. It's really cool, I have to admit. I almost don't mind suffering through that awfulness. The last track is a really great, really nice, mellow folk tune, quite different from everything else here. But then the mood is utterly destroyed by the hidden track, which is 43 seconds of awful repetitive noise. 43 seconds too long. Jesus Christ. I suppose Beck took some sort of perverse delight in sabotaging his record with these awful sounds, but they prevent me from giving it 5 stars. Um, I guess there's some sort of subversive point or delight in doing something so anti-commercial. I don't know, but yeah, I'm at 4.5 stars.
Just being out of tune kills it for you, doesn't it? Just interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I do like a fair amount of Sonic Youth. I don't want to sound like I'm a Sonic Youth detractor. No, I do dig some Sonic Youth, but sometimes they really rub me the wrong way.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave this here now, considering they've came up at least like 10 times already.
Yeah, I don't like that album as much. I much prefer Dirty.
Dirty is so much lamer. It's basically a grunge.
Ah!
Number 5. All right, my number 5 is pretty good stuff. I say pretty good stuff. It's number 5, so obviously I like it. It's Mutations from '98. This is just a nice, cool, laid back. It's sort of trippy folk record with weird but very soothing like vocal harmonies or maybe modulation. I'm not too sure what you want to call it, but I think the singing is the best part about it. Cold Brains is good. My favorite track on here actually is Nobody's Fault But My Own, which I want to call it Nobody's Fault But Mine, but that's two different songs. One's a Zeppelin track and the other one's the track Zeppelin stole. But anyway, that's that's an argument we'll be having forever, I guess. But yeah, this is kind of like Sea Changes for me. It's just a vibe. There's no real tracks that I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite of all time, aside from Nobody's Fault But My Own. But again, all the tracks are just solid. Tropicali is good. Production's solid. I like Oh Maria. It's not a big hit on here, but I think it's a nice tune. And yeah, it's just pretty solid front to back. I'm gonna go with 8.5 as well. It's like slightly better than Sea Changes, but again, they could fucking flip. I don't know. I just prefer at this current moment, I prefer Mutations because it's got more, I guess, iconic songs for me. At least songs I'll put on a Beck playlist if I ever make one. I can't really do that for Sea Changes. I'll just listen to the whole album if I feel like it. But yeah, Mutations is good shit. We're gonna be getting to my favorites soon, but yeah, this is a really good one. It's just, I don't know. It just kind of, it's more vibey, if in my opinion. Like I don't put it on to pick out a song I like. I put it on just to, like, chill. But yeah, it's good stuff, and it's my number 5.
Alrighty. Okay. My number 5 gonna be Modern Guilt. There's just not a ton for me to say about this album. It's probably the most straightforward release he ever did. It's just kind of a rock album, front to back. Nothing too fancy, nothing really that experimental. There's a couple of decent, they're just these decent tracks with some pretty solid musicianship behind them. I liked Orphans a fair bit. I agree with Cam. I really liked Gamma Ray. It was in my top 10 for a little bit. Tail track's pretty good. I also really liked Walls. I don't know. It's kind of like that garage rock revival scene. Not the biggest fan of it. I think this fits back a lot better. He's more suited to this than the trip hop sort of stuff that he tends to do a lot of the time. I had it marked down as a 3.5. I think it's more like a 3 though. So number 5, Modern Guilt, 3 stars.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Number 4. Well, this will be controversial to some people, I guess. This is Sea Change from 2002, his 8th studio album. This ranking will be too low for some, but I am up to 5 stars now. Sea Change is good enough to be my number one. The only reason it isn't is because it's just not my favorite Beck style. I prefer Party Beck. Um, this is Beck's breakup album. He caught his fiance cheating on him. Most of these songs are mellow, easygoing, and melancholy with prominent acoustic guitar. They are deceptively simple songs. There's often a lot more going on in them, including electronics, courtesy of producer Nigel Godrich, known especially for his work with Radiohead. The opening track, The Golden Age, sets the scene with plaintive acoustic guitar and sad lyrics, with lines like, "These days I barely get by, I don't even try." Song gets a little trippy at the end with some electronics. Second track, Paper Tiger, is a bit more upbeat with some funky bass and sweeping R&B strings with some cool guitar. Lonesome Tears features powerful orchestration that surges at the chorus. End of the Day might be my favorite track here. The vocal melody reminds me of Gordon Lightfoot. Round the Bend is dreamy and otherworldly, especially the trippy ending, um, which moves into the gorgeous Already Dead, which may be the most devastating song here. Sunday Sun has a rudimentary piano line that just works. Very effective. It just hits the right notes. Really expressive. Another gorgeous song. Beck's vocals on this album sound depressed for sure. He is very expressive in his own way. Sounds so good. When this came out, I bought it right away, but didn't get into it much. It was at a time when I was just into different kinds of music. I even found it a little boring at times, if I'm being honest. That's just where I was at the time. I have way more appreciation for it now. It's a supremely excellent album. Again, 5 stars.
Awesome. If people are gonna give you shit for ranking Sea Change where it is, I'm gonna get fucking crucified because I put it a bit lower than you did, but you know, not by a whole lot, I guess. I'm not sure how rabid the Beck fan base is, but I don't know, they seem chill. Maybe
Yeah.
they're probably too busy fucking eating hot wings and smoking pot instead of, you know, get going crazy about Beck rankings. But hey, you never know. And now my number, we're on 4. Yeah, we're on 4. Sorry.
Or
My number 4 is one that you guys had ranked a little lower, but I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't know shit about it. And when I got into it, I was really into it. It's The Information from 06. This is the Beck that I'm into, kind of the more, you know, energetic kind of Beck. Lots of great like bass work and guitar work here and some good I don't know what you call it, like bop type sounds. I think those sound fucking sick. The first 3 tracks especially are my favorites. I think I'm in love and elevator music are primo Beck for me. And the rest is good too. Not a fan of like Motorcade or that fucking weird 10-minute track near the end, which is the horrible fanfare, Landslide and Exoskeleton. I appreciate it, but it's not a track that I'm gonna hear anytime soon because I don't know. I don't feel like hearing a 10-minute Beck song, to be honest. I can take them at like 5 minutes at most, but you know, there's a joke there somewhere. But anyway, yeah, not a lot to say about it. It's just I think it's solid. It caught me by surprise. To be honest, I forgot this was even an album because like I was going through like his albums, and when I was done, I feel like when I was through it, I was like, am I missing something? And then I remembered, oh yeah, I listened to The Information. I completely forgot. And then I went back through it. I'm like, yeah, still pretty good. I'm gonna go with another 8.5 as well. We're not in the nines yet. I'm probably annoying some of y'all for not bumping up my scores, but you know what? It's still fucking solid. It's a nice little like, what do you call it? Head bop album. Beck sounds good. The instrumentation sounds good. And despite its length being over an hour, it doesn't really feel like it aside from the very end with that fucking 10-minute monstrosity. But aside from that, good shit. 8.5. I will definitely put it on again.
Cool.
Yeah, it's all right. Number 4 for me, I got Guero. Bit of a surprise. Definitely surprising that we all have it this high, because I feel like this one kind of gets forgotten about a bit. Coming right after Sea Change, drops a bit of the melancholy, going for more of a trip hop infused kind of rock sound. And he does it kind of well. For the usual with Beck, I prefer more of the softer, somber stuff. I still struggle to love it, but this is a fairly solid release with some choice cuts. And it's a good change of pace from his prior 2 records. Best songs here were Missing, Earthquake Weather, and Emergency Exit. I don't really want to give it to him. I don't know. I'm at 3.5 for this one. It's pretty good. I'm probably not going to go back to it, but yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Right.
Number 4, Guero.
You want to give him a 4 so bad? I know you do.
No,
Hallelujah. We made it to good.
I didn't want to give that a 3.5.
I could see it in your eyes. You wanted to bump it up a little bit.
Oh, God.
I already bumped one down. I'll
Oh,
do
yeah,
it
you did.
again.
No, I think bumping one down's good enough for me.
All right. My number 3 is Guero, or Guero, as you gabachos say. From 2005, his 9th studio album. Now we are getting into my favorite Beck territory. Guero sees the welcome return of the Dust Brothers. I think this album is a blast. It's got a typical Beck melting pot of styles, and it all flows together so smoothly. There's nothing awkward or jarring here like there is on Odelay. Opener E-Pro, which has something to do with Scientology, a religion Beck grew up with, and thankfully has renounced in recent years. It's one of Beck's most rockin' tunes, featuring a super catchy "na na na" chorus. "Que onda Güero" is an amusing goof on Latino culture. "Que onda Güero" means "what's up, Whitey." "Girl" is a good single, even though it's my least favorite on the album. It sounds like a sunny pop song, but the lyrics are actually quite dark and morbid. "Missing" is a great Latin flavored post breakup tune with sweeping orchestration. The lyrics on Güero have a lot of patented Beck zaniness, but they're just as often thought provoking as on this song. "Earthquake Weather" sounds expansive, lots going on in this one. There's some more Latin flavor, as well as cool record scratches and a euphoric chorus. "Hell Yes" is party time electro funk, complete with vocoder. I love the way Carisatina, credited here as "Girl," mechanically deadpans the words "please enjoy." That creepy Stepford wife delivery. This song is a blast. I love the lazy, hazy sound of broken drum, sweet slide guitar. Beck plays every instrument here: piano, bass, acoustic guitar, Celeste, even drums. He adds a cool electronic snare drum that reminds me of an old Cure song, Faith. Beck also delivers a sweet, haunting vocal. "Scarecrow" is totally infectious, another great beat, and I love the trippy guitar atmospherics. Might be my favorite on the album. "Go It Alone" is another supremely catchy song with a groovy bass guitar shuffle, courtesy of White Stripe Jack White. Farewell Ride, that might actually be the best on the album. It captures the sinister feeling of riding in your own funeral procession. Beck is just a genius when it comes to adding sonic touches. On this song, he employs chains for percussion and a lonesome harmonica, great slide guitar, and gorgeously sung vocal. 8 of these songs I've got rated 5 stars, and the rest aren't too far behind. Easy 5-star album.
Very, very nice. And I'll admit, I did call it Guero a couple times. I'm sure my Cuban ancestors are rolling in whatever graves that Batista and Castro put them in.
Oh,
But
shit.
yeah, but well, that's a whole different discussion. But actually, not that different because mine is also Guero. This album is fucking badass, and I loved every second of it. Starts off strong with E Pro and just keeps going. Que Onda Güero is sick, very funny track. Girl's really good, fucking depressing tune, but you know, kind of like a like a what's his face type track, like a Brian Wilson type thing where hey, it's nice and poppy, but you read the lyrics and you're just like, oh, fuck that. All right. Missing is good too. Black Tambourine sick. I pretty much just like all the songs on here. Farewell Ride isn't the one that I love, but to be honest, that one was also just kind of in one ear and out the other. But yeah, every track on here, aside from that, which could just be on me, I'm sure it's a really good song. I'll have to go back to it, but that one didn't stick out to me as much as the other ones. But aside from that, every song on here is a banger. It sounds great. The inclusion of Mr. White Stripes is a pretty great inclusion, along with the others. The production is sick. It's a good mixture of like vibey Beck and somber weird Beck, but also kind of has an energy to it that something like Sea Change or Morning Phase just didn't have for me. Although those are pretty good albums, like I said before. But yeah, Wedo is just fucking so much fun. Depressing as hell at some points, but also just so much fun. Sounds great. Songwriting's great. Beck's singing pretty well. Not much to complain about. It's we're going up to 9 out of 10 right now. It is good shit, and definitely one that I'm gonna put on probably sometime again in the future. That's my number 3.
Yeah, I'm just a stupid piece of shit, so I said it wrong. Top 3, all pretty close. All these are 4 stars. I think Beck has 3 really good albums, and they're all his more somber, his more gentle records, which
I'll
is
take it.
fucking by far the better stuff. So really tricky, really tricky. Number 3, going with Sea Change, but they're all really close. Mainly slide this at number 3 due to just not knowing it as well as my top 2. This album's very good, gorgeous gorgeous instrumentation, great lyrics, and a very melancholic sort of somber feeling that permeates through the album. My main criticism is the same thing as I've been saying. I don't love Beck as a singer. He comes across very lackadaisical, very sort of tired with a lot of his music. And it just doesn't really feel like he's genuinely embodying the songs to me a lot of the time. He's singing them, he's narrating, but he's not really playing the character or really getting into the mood of the song, I feel like, a lot of the time. Despite that, plenty of really good songs on here. The Golden Age, Paper Tiger, Someday Sun, Will One. 4 stars. Very good. I just lack a strong personal connection to Beck's music, which is something that I really need to love something. So number 3 going to be Sea Change. 4 stars.
Fuck yeah.
You know what? I think that's totally fair. I mean, there are other artists that, you know, convey so much more emotion than Beck. You know, it's more of a, I don't know, laid back, subtle thing, maybe. But you made a fair point for sure. Okay, my number 2 is Mutations from 1998, Beck's 6th album. this is my runner-up for album of the year. Um, it's just behind From the Choir Girl Hotel by Tori Amos. This is one of my all-time favorite albums. It's on the mellow acoustic side of things, but this being Beck, of course, there's a lot more to it than that. Some orchestration and lots of different instrumentation. For me, these are definitely some of Beck's best, most well written songs. They just move me. Cold Brains kicks off the album with a winner, a mellow acoustic number loaded with cool electronics. Um, Nobody's Fault But My Own is just devastating and makes good use of some East Indian instruments. Lazy Flies has harpsichord and trippy lyrics. We Live Again and Dead Melodies are two of the best. Just wonderful songwriting. The only track I really don't care for is Tropicalia. It's a bossa nova, and I like bossa nova, but this particular song sounds like Muzak to me. It's just too light and breezy for my tastes. And this is probably the main reason Mutations doesn't take the top spot. A minor quibble, but I'm forced to split hairs here. Then you get the hidden track, which just blows the roof off the whole thing. It totally rocks, unlike everything else here. And the distorted bass sounds badass. There's loads of effects, a whirlwind of sounds. There's even a bizarre little Butthole Surfers birdie interlude. I love it. 5 stars.
Very nice. Shout out to Nobody's Fault But My Own once again. That's a fucking fantastic tune. But we've been on that long enough. Now, I believe we're at number 2. Yeah, we're at number 2. I'm not doing that bit anymore. My number 2 is Odelay, an album that my friends here had a bit lower. That originally I had lower as well, I'll admit. But after listening to it again, yeah, this is primo Beck for me. Aside from the number 1, which you can probably guess what it is. But this album is so much fun. Opens great with Devil's Haircut. Hot Wax is sick. Lord Knows is sick. I love Novocaine. That's probably a top 5 track on this album for me. It's so weird, but it sounds so cool. I don't know. It kind of it is a mess, I'll admit, but I think it's so much fun. I don't know. I like Sissy Neck as well, and High Five Rock the Catskills. Whatever the hell a Catskill is, I don't know, but he sure as hell was rocking it. That's a fun ass tune. It sounds great. This is, aside from Mellow Gold, this is primo 90s Beck for me. It's just off the wall and kooky, but also like interesting and fun to listen to. Production's good, the singing's good, and all right, let's get the elephant out of the room. I'm not gonna say Beck's a fantastic rapper. He sure as hell isn't Kendrick or Nas, but you know what? He does good work here. He's a fine rapper. Like I'm not crazy about, maybe this is, I'm not gonna say it. A lot of my favorite rappers aren't white, and Beck definitely isn't a favorite rapper of mine. But you know what? He does good work. He definitely gets rap more so than, like, I don't know, fucking Todd McDonald or some shit like that. But again, he's no Nas. But then again, who is? But yeah, fucking just whatever that was. Yeah, but yeah, fucking sick ass album. It's so much fun, lots of energy, lots of cool instrumentation. Beck singing at top form, even including the rapping. And yeah, not really a bad track on here. This is the Beck I like, the kind of reined in fucking wackadoo Beck that I like, not that weird shit from Gold Feelings or Soulmanure. This is like a nice, properly cleaned up version of that. It's good stuff. I'm going for a 9.5. Some on a different day it might be my favorite, but I don't know. It's not. It's almost there. I still think it's fantastic. Probably one of the best of '96, at least for me anyway. But yeah, aside from that, fucking kick-ass record.
Nice.
It's fine. I'm glad you guys got more out of Beck than me, because this one didn't click. Number 2, pretty tricky. Expected this to be my number 1 pretty easily. Going Mutations. So Rich, there you go. We agreed on one thing this entire video. Golf clap. Golf clap. Anyways, this is fucking far and away his best 90s album. That kind of sucked. I'm gonna be real. I didn't like any of the other albums. 4 stars for Mutations. I don't know. I feel like this is really where he finds his sound. Doesn't have any of those sort of weirder trip hop elements. The hip hop's gone. Just a very enjoyable indie kind of chamber pop release, a bit alt rock, and it's just a very strong batch of songs. I wouldn't call Beck an amazing singer. I've made that very clear, but I think he fits into the songs and the atmosphere of this album very well. Cold Brains, Bottle of Blues, Oh Maria are all great. Nobody's Fault of My Own is as well very good, as you've all pointed out. For as strong as a release as this is, though, I still just lack any emotional connection to it. He feels very muted, which fits the tone of the album, but it hurts my enjoyment overall. It honestly did drop for me slightly in my prior estimations. Still very good. I would still recommend it to people, but it's just not really what I'm looking for a lot of the time. It's 4 stars, very good, but I think with re-listens, my number 1 became very definitive. So, number 2, Mutations.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I feel emotion in a song like Nobody's Fault But My Own. I don't know. It ain't no Aretha Franklin, but all right. We're at number 1. My number 1 is Midnite Vultures from 1999, Beck's 7th album, and it is my album of the year. This album is so much fucking fun, a total blast, one of the best party albums ever made. There's a wide variety of sounds and styles all mixed together on this album, as is typical for Beck, but it focuses more on funk rock and R&B than other outings. The album just cooks, really funky, and some of Beck's best melodies. If you dig bells and whistles, Beck, you will love this one as it's loaded with crazy sounds. The production is incredible. For example, the song Pressure Zone uses beatbox and the sound of a sword being pulled from its sheath. Just random shit like that makes this album so tasty. And the lyrics are bizarre and hilarious. They're tongue in cheek, kind of poking fun at hipster culture, I think. They're dorky just to be funny. Check out these lyrics from Hollywood Freaks. People look so snooty, take pills, make them moody, automatic bazooty, 0 to 2 fruity. What? Sex in the halls, Niagara Falls, local shopping malls receive anonymous calls. Hot like a Cheeto, neon mamacita, Edith taqueria, pop locking beats from Korea, selling lots of real estate, looking like a hot date, begging like an 808. Just loads of cheesy fun. And then Deborah at the end with the famous, I want to get with you and your sister. I think her name's Deborah. Like that would ever work. But, it just goes to show that the album is a joke and it's just a lot of fun. Then you get other songs like the quirky Broken Train and the gorgeous Beautiful Way, which adds some variety to the album. I've got every song here rated 5 stars. I even love the insane electronic overload hidden track for what it is. It's great. This is a go-to album for me. Classic on the lattice shelf. Good song, good album to get pumped up to.
I gotta see that ladder shelf. Yeah, I'm glad that's your favorite 99. That's I think Fiona, my baby girl, has that year down pat for me.
Oh.
But we're not doing a Fiona list one day, but not today. Yeah, my number one, Process of Elimination, probably doesn't make sense if considering how I've talked about Beck already, but I don't care. This album is so fucking cool. It's Mellow Gold from '94. I think it's my favorite from that year, aside from Illmatic and maybe the Downward Spiral, Ill Communication. I'm not too sure. I'll have to go through that again. But Mellow Gold is definitely a contender. Holy shit, this album is so much fun. Opens super strong with one of the best songs of the '90s, and a song you will hear until the day you fucking die. With Loser, that opening riff is iconic for a reason. It's like, come on, that's lightning in a bottle type stuff. You can't do that shit twice. But you know what? The other tracks on here are pretty stellar as well, especially the second track, which is a track I love a lot. Pay No Mind. I think it's better than Loser, actually, but that's a whole other thing. Another sick guitar riff in the beginning, kind of depressing lyrics, but in like a bittersweet, funny way, and not in a, what do you call it? Not in like a very nihilistic type way. It's more just like poking fun at the weird malaise of the '90s that people were going through, if that makes sense. And the next track, "Fucking with My Head," or Mountain Dew Rock, is also a banger. Whiskey Clone I love a lot as well. Soul Sucking Jerk. These are weird ass songs that I probably shouldn't like on some days, but I love these so much. Soul Sucking Jerk is so good. And another favorite track on here of mine is Truck Driving Neighbors Downstairs. This song is fucking insane. That opening little dialogue blurb of the two roommates, I guess, like just taking the piss out of each other, is wild. I want to know how we got that. The lyrics are so funny. The guitar sounds good. Not much to complain about. And another track I like on here, which is probably the freakiest song he's ever done, in my opinion, "Sweet Sunshine." Holy shit, this song is so strange, so creative. It's kind of nightmarish in a way, but like in an interesting way. But I could go on and on about that fucking song, but we'll be here all night, at least more than we already are. Yeah, no real complaints. I love the production. I love how like gritty it sounds for its time, like intentionally so. It doesn't sound like shit, but it sounds like, I don't know. It just sounds like intentionally made to sound like that, but not because of a lack of production money, but because, hey, I want my album to sound kind of grungy and trashy. And you know what? He's fucking succeeded at that. This is the Beck I love. Like, just like the weird shit, like the weird ass lyrics, but like the cool guitar riffs and the nice mellow singing. That can also lead into kind of quick rapid fire singing. It's good shit. I can't say it's a masterpiece because I might be blowing smoke a little bit, but this album is just so much fucking fun. This is like primo '90s rock for me. It's a 9.5, a 10. Like, am my most subjective, like ass kissing type, like whatever, like, what do you call it?
This show is subjective. Go ahead.
Yeah, like on like my most subjective ass kissing days, I'll give it a 10. But I think 9.5 is appropriate. It's so good. It's with or without drugs, it is kick ass. It's so much fun. The lyrics are great. Production's great. Beck is just having a fucking blast, and you can tell. And yeah, I love every second of it, even the super nightmarish shit.
Well, I can confidently say I was sober through this whole experience. Maybe if I wasn't, it would have helped. But oh well. Number one, Kind of, yeah, makes sense. Morning phase. Yeah, I mean, the ones below this were pretty tight, but for me, morning phase became an easy winner. Where mutations grew off me, this one grew on me. It's tempted to bump to 4.5, but settled on a 4. High 4, like an 8.6. There you go. It's about as high I'm going for Beck. It is somewhat stuck in one sound, very similar to some of the other records. However, this is just a very lush, a very stunning release. To me, by far his best produced record. The arrangements are gorgeous. Beck's vocals pop off the songs brilliantly. And unlike Mutations, unlike Sea Change, there's a level of intimacy and maturity in the songwriting here for me that is really second to none. And while I feel like Sea Change, Mutations, it's going to be a bit more fully formed, I feel like Morning Phase is really just the culmination of it all. Track to track, it's just a really moving experience to me. It's his most unified and interconnected project and really rewards multiple listening. I do wish that the songs were a little bit stronger in and of themselves, although I'll level with you, all of my favorite songs are from these first three, are from my top three. I just really prefer the somber style of Beck. I don't know. I still like all the songs here a fair bit. It's a high 4 stars for Morning Phase. My favorite Beck album, but it came out in 2014, so it could never be great. That year fucking sucked. So.
Something in the water.
Yeah, seriously.
Cool. Well, do you want to blast through a top 10 songs real quick?
Yeah.
This video's getting long.
Great idea.
Yeah, let's just.
All right, do y'all have any honorable mentions, or are we gonna skip that?
I just got 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
10 as well.
All right, I'll skip my honorable mentions then. Number 10, I had to get Loser on there. Mellow Gold. Number 9 is Broken Train from Midnite Vultures. Number 8 is Pressure Zone from Midnite Vultures. Number 7 is Farewell Ride from Guero. Number 6, Nobody's Fault But My Own from Mutations. Number 5, We Live Again from Mutations. Number 4, Peaches and Cream from Midnite Vultures. Number 3, Milk and Honey from Midnite Vultures. Number 2, Dead Melodies from Mutations. And my number 1 is Beautiful Way from Midnite Vultures.
Awesome. My 10 favorite songs. I'll start with 10, obviously. Going with Sweet Sunshine, fucking insane song. If you know me, you probably know why I like it. My number 9 is Soul Suckin' Jerk. Number 8 is Novocaine. Despite the mess that it is, I think it's a good ass tune. Number 7, I Think I'm in Love from The Information. And then number 6 is a funny ass song, Truck Driving Neighbors Downstairs. It's my kind of song. It's just ridiculous. I love it so much. And number 5, different tone, but still a fantastic track. It's Girl. And then my number 4 is Nobody's Fault But My Own. Fucking primo songwriting, but still not my favorite. My number 3 is his biggest hit, Loser. My number 2 is actually Devil's Haircut. If that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but whatever. I think that song is just so good. And my number 1 is Pay No Mind or Snoozer.
Alrighty, top 10 time. Songs I like a good bit. Number 10, they got Paper Tiger from Sea Change. Number 9, they got Morning from Morning Phase. Number 8, I got Heart is a Drum from Morning Phase. Number 7, I got Bottle of Blues from Mutations. Number 6, I got Little One from Sea Change. Number 5, I have Say Goodbye from Morning Phase. Number 4, I have Sunday Sun from Sea Change. Number 3, I got Cold Brains from Mutations. Number 2, I got Blue Moon from Morning Phase. And my favorite Beck song as of today is going to be Oh Maria from Mutations.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's an underrated tune.
Hell yeah.
Like
Nobody's
your
Fault But My Own.
choices.
Nobody's Fault But My Own probably should slide in here. Great chorus on that one. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
It's
Yes.
not your fault.
Yeah. No, it is. Literally only mine because I didn't listen during my songs thing.
Fair enough.
Beck.
I have had a few deep night of the soul nights listening to that one.
I haven't. Well,
I've listened to Beck way more than you guys have. Way
Yeah,
more.
yeah. This is a new experience. I've heard Mellow Gold too much, but the other ones were kind of more sporadic in listening. But yeah, Beck was interesting artist. I think I like him. I think I hate him at the same time, but I still think he's pretty sublime. Like how an artist like this can just get so popular because he's just creative.
I hate
Like
Yes.
even at his worst, you can't really fault him for like being boring. Aside from foot in the grave, but aside from that, like you can't really give him shit. You can't really give him shit for being formulaic because he doesn't follow a formula. He does whatever the hell he wants. You can't really say that about many artists.
All right. That being said, that was Beck. He's kind of cool, I guess. Too many damn albums, too many styles. Don't like him that much. Stupid face too. Smug looking guy. That being said, though, he's put out some cool stuff. Glad that people love him. That being said, hope that you all had a good time with this, and you have a great one.